よ私ここにいるよ殺されながら生きてる愛されてみたかったなんてずるい人間みたいにはくらんじろ隣人を疑え後悔とただば人じゃボタに思考はそうでしたレビタウンI am here before 体にせねばせのことかせまた許しがこうての日は黒で少な世界言われてくる欲望のこの合図に従え助けてよ私ここにいるよ殺されながら生きてる愛されてみたかったなんてずるい人間みたい望んではいけない希望に見えて怖くて目をそらしたそれでも今日を生きてみたいの私のための聖なる戦争
Hello YouTube, I'm back again with another video. I'm here to talk about this man named Jarvis Butts.
I came looking for man's butt.
A man's butt? Excuse me?
Who was literally convicted of violating this 13-year-old named Nazia Harris. I'm not even explaining what happened. I'm just going to get into the important message here is that as soon as this guy, Jarvis Butts, actually went to jail, it was later presumed from one of the prison guards that he actually ended up losing his life.
Got some breaking news to report. Convicted killer Jarvis Butts found dead in prison.
The news, like again, going back to saying about the news reporters, they try to make it they try to make it seem like we should have sympathy for this guy, saying, "Oh, this is breaking news. He ended up passing away in the prison." Who cares?
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
YouTube might say otherwise, or people are trying to do whatever they can, because who's gonna feel sorry for a predator? And based on this guy's history, that he's done this more than once.
I'm gonna try extremely hard to maintain my composure, and I mean extremely hard.
And what's even more disgusting is that he's actually done this with his real relatives, which is even crazy. I'm talking about below the age of consent. The reason why I also want to bring this up because before he even went to jail, the reason he even got sentenced is because he literally took the life of Nazia Harris.
I won't let you get away with this!
once he found out like she was pregnant, and I don't want to use these words, guys, but once chances are he was probably trying to get her to do an abortion, and she refused, and there's a chance that she was going to call her parents, let her know what happened, and as soon as that she brought it up, from there he ended up taking her life.
We've got some breaking news to report. Convicted Jarvis Butts found in prison. Butts pled guilty to Naziah Harris. He received a 35 to 60-year prison sentence and for assaulting multiple girls. His cause of death was not revealed. We have multiple calls into authorities, and we'll have much more on this story throughout the day.
So honestly, it is not a waste that he's not on this earth anymore, because people like this don't change. He has normals, and as goofy as it is looking at his hairstyle, it is also a tragic moment for the victims.
Top story at 5. Jarvis Butts, the man convicted for the murder of 13-year-old Naziah Harris and a string of other assaults, was found dead this morning inside his prison cell.
That's right. It happened at the Charles Egler Reception and Guidance Center over in Jackson County. Jay Scott Smith live on the story for us this evening. Jay, he'd only been there for just a few days.
Yeah, he hadn't even been there 2 weeks, Karen. Good evening, everybody. And word that this had happened, it started kind of circulating on social media around the city earlier today. We did end up getting it confirmed, and it just adds another layer to just this tragic situation.
Too bad, so sad. Bye-bye.
Whoever did, because it isn't confirmed whether he did it to himself or somebody within the walls, within the prison itself. So if somebody did, yeah, I definitely give them kudos. They definitely deserve to get tons of respect by all the other inmates. Nobody should put their hands on them. If anything, they should give them a proper seating and let them share a table. I think, yeah, I feel like credit needs to be given when it's due, and Jarvis Butts definitely deserved it.
The last time we saw Jarvis Butts was 2 weeks ago, as he sat quietly in a green jumpsuit with a mask covering his face, as women and girls spoke of the impact the 43-year-old predator had on their lives.
It has been 2 years and 2 months since I reported Naziah missing. I want you to know that my life will never be the same. I had to remind myself that my niece Naziah isn't coming back. I hope that every victim and my niece and nephews can heal.
14 days later, that man was found dead in a cell, likely by suicide, at the Charles Egler Reception and Guidance Center in Jackson, where he'd been for the last 10 days. The Michigan Department of Corrections confirmed his death to Local 4 just after 10 o'clock this morning. The Department of Corrections saying in a statement, quote, MDOC staff provided life-saving measures which were unsuccessful. The death is currently being reported as it brings a bitter end to a saga that came to the surface after Butts' 13-year-old Naziah Harris back in January of 2024. The 43-year-old Butts had been sentenced to 35 to 60 years in prison for Harris after he pleaded guilty 1 month earlier on February 12th, and he pled guilty to 5 other assault charges in 6 different cases. Butts had been abusing Harris since 2022, starting with texts and photos being sent to the then 11-year-old Naziah. She disappeared on January 9, 2024. It was also revealed that the teen was pregnant by Butts, with the prosecutor's office noting that Butts did web searches for abortions, abortion pills, and drinking red antifreeze before Harris's death. Butts eventually admitted to body in the Rouge River near 7 Mile and Berg. However, Harris's body has not been found more than 2 years later.
Got him. We fucking got him.
He had it coming, but the thing is with this guy, he didn't know when to stop, and it was gonna get to the point. It was gonna get to the point that it was gonna lead to something like this, murder. So I do agree with a lot of the viewers. They tend to say that's the judge for giving them a light sentence, or the justice system is broken. I would have to say the justice system itself is broken, because maybe there's something behind the system where it's like the judges have to give them like a fair sentence where, yeah, they can decide how long, but I think like depending how severe the crime is, like, I personally think, yeah, predators should definitely get life when it comes to these type of situations, especially if it involves a minor. 100%, there's no reason for them to get out, or honestly deserve the chair, or or the wood chipper. That's really the best solution, you guys.
That is it. Guards give him the death sentence.
Now, Butts had been at this facility, Egler, for 10 days. Now, it's actually a place where they often will take inmates before they get shipped off to the place where they're going to actually serve their time. But like we mentioned earlier, he was found dead today. They said that they think this is but it is currently being investigated by the Michigan State Police. Live in Detroit, I'm J. Scott Smith for Local 4.
Corrections says Jarvis Butts was found dead in a prison in Jackson.
Butts had pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of 13-year-old Neziah Harris. He was just given a sentence of 35 to 60 years just 2 weeks ago. The Detroit teen's body was never found. Butts was also sentenced for assaulting. Now, at this point, the Department of Corrections says that it's being reported as a...
People keep talking about, like, whether, and this is the thing, it bothers me, especially when it comes to these lawyers defending these people. Talking about, they maybe if telling the judge, pleading with the judge, even though it's their job, pleading with the judge, maybe, hey, we can try to cut his sentence if we can find the right therapy, try to get him rehabilitated. Bullshit! I don't know if these lawyers don't know, and I want to make it clear for anybody who believes that this is possible. There's no such thing as a program that can cure someone like this, whether it be Jarvis Butts and all the other predators like EP, Cyrax, just Scooby. There's no cure that I know even exists, because wouldn't it have been proven by now? Wouldn't there actually be literally wouldn't there be again a demonstration how they can actually get how they can actually make a cure when not one has been revealed? It hasn't been proven fact yet. There's no given fact that it's even possible. So I don't know why people keep assuming that you can actually help someone. It actually pisses me off so much. Talking about there's a cure, like cry me a river. Like, there's no such thing. It never has been, or will there ever.
In a short life, the exploitation, the donations, the abuse, and the pregnancy that she was concealing.
Years before Jarvis Butts would be charged by Wayne County's prosecutor, accused of killing and 13-year-old Neziah Harris, Harris's own relatives say they saw the warning signs and told anyone who would listen.
This is going to keep going on because the justice system isn't too strict with these people. I personally don't know why, because I don't know, it's because if they advocate this or they think it's not that big a deal, how serious this is. This is very serious. Because again, people need to these predators have nothing to lose. If they feel that the child's going to tell on them or they're going to get caught and they're in the act, from there they're going to do whatever they can to dispose of the person. And sometimes honestly they should dispose themselves. That would have been so much. If they're so worried about being humiliated, they're scared of the consequence, they should have done that all on themselves. If they're worried, because either way, the moment you commit the crime and you try to dispose of the person, you're getting yourself even more heat. And what I mean is, you could have done it you could have done it quicker, sooner. But now your torment's gonna be a lot worse. I'm talking about Jarvis Butts right now. So yeah, I have no sympathy when the inmates had something to do with this guy's disappearance.
But at that point, I was like, this is too much. I'm calling CPS. I tried not just once, but multiple times for them to take me serious in what I was saying.
Kiwana Morton and her cousin Jernell are both relatives of Neziah Harris. In February of 2022, Jernell says she learned of allegations of improper touching involving Butts and other small children. She says she was told about the claims while talking to her niece, Jarvis Butts' girlfriend, and that the alleged victims were Neziah Harris and 2 other children.
I was just like, oh my God, I was not crazy. This needs to be looked into.
She says she took the claim seriously in part because Butts was on the offender registry, having spent more than 8 years in prison for third-degree criminal conduct. She didn't alert authorities at first because she believed her niece would notify police. But weeks later, Janelle did notify Child Protective Services. Her complaint came in on April 13th, 2022. There was an incident at a birthday party, the complaint reads. One of the children that attended the party accused Jarvis of abuse. Naziah, and name withheld, reported that Jarvis touched both of them immediately as well. Jarvis touched name withheld in her area, and it hurt. Janelle made the complaint over the phone.
They basically told me if they needed me for anything else, they would reach out.
The next day, Janelle would receive a text from her niece, Butt's girlfriend, confirming that CPS had contacted her. CPS called me, the text reads. They called about the well-being of my kids. Then they called back to get Jarvis info. A CPS spokeswoman would not tell 7 News Detroit if investigators ever questioned Naziah Harris after receiving the complaint. But we do know it wasn't the only complaint filed with CPS, naming Jarvis Butts.
And it wasn't easy for me to call Protective Services just because of the horror stories that you hear.
Kawana Morton said she heard about the same allegations against Butts from a conversation with his girlfriend. 2 months after her cousins called to CPS, she would file her own complaint.
I told them that there's a problem and they need to be aware of it. I am 90% sure that there's abuse going on within the home.
Did you specifically mention Jarvis by name?
Yes, absolutely.
Internal CPS records we obtained show that investigators looked into that complaint, conducting a face-to-face interview with Butts, who strongly denied the allegation. A forensic interview was conducted with the alleged victim, and no disclosures were made. CPS said the home was clean and free of observed safety concerns. The allegation was denied, assigned a low-risk level. These are 2 complaints of at least 5 filed with CPS since 2015, naming Jarvis Butts. They allege concerns about possible malnutrition, physical abuse, or living conditions. Some of the complaints are generic, and none would ultimately substantiate that Butts was improperly touched. Just over a year after the last complaint on record, Butts would be charged with assaulting and murdering Naziah Harris.
I'm brokenhearted because this could have been prevented. All of it. All of it could have been prevented.
Honestly, it would have been easier. Maybe again, whether especially if knowing that you can't be redeemed, these people should have taken the easy way out. I'm sorry, but that would have made way more sense, because now they're gonna have to live through the torture, because they're gonna make sure that it's painful and that they don't forget about it, as well as and then that they celebrate when the time comes. The moment it happens, because I don't see because anybody with common sense, any decent human being knows that there's no sympathizing or even crying for someone like this.
Attorneys for Jarvis Butts declined comment for this story, citing his pending criminal case. As for CPS, a spokeswoman for the Department of Health and Human Services said their hearts go out to the family and friends of Naziah Harris. They said that state and federal laws prohibit them from commenting on what we've reported, but that they're committed to ensuring the health and safety of all children. I'm Ross Jones, 7 News Detroit.
What redeeming qualities does a predator have? Please, people, give me an example. Just be sure to just comment and give me an example of what is redeeming about a predator. I have no clue, because anybody that says otherwise, you're a part of the problem too. But I do want to send my condolences to Naziah Harris, and I do share my condolences to her family as well. Those who are basically wishing her the best, and something like this should never happen. And in itself, and of course the victim's family have every right to mourn, and we should all be able to give our support, not for Jarvis Butts, because he got what was coming to him from the moment he started doing this inappropriate, disturbing behavior.
Until then, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. No more talk.
But overall, I feel like I said enough for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.
같아요.